Hi, friends. We're so glad you're here. The Big Ideas podcast exists to empower the next generation of entrepreneurs. Join us for unscripted conversations while you're at home with your kids or even just driving them around to activities. We hope these short but powerful messages will give you inspiration and encouragement for your next big ideas. Hi, friends. Welcome back to the Big Ideas podcast. I am Ashlee and I am so excited for this episode. This is our final episode that we're recording for 2024, and it has just been such a fun ride launching this podcast this year and just having so much great feedback and encouragement from y'all throughout these episodes. This is officially episode 30 that's been recorded. And, as we are approaching the new year, of course, a lot of the goal setting and just plans for 2025 are upon us. I am definitely your goal setting girl. I love goals. I love planning for big things. I love setting expectations. I love just making a list of all the things that I want to do and experience and accomplish. And the new year is like one of my very, very favorite times of the year. Mondays, as an example, are my favorite day of the week, which I don't think is super common, but I just love the idea and that feeling of like a fresh start, new days, new months, new year ahead of us. Which is exactly what we're going to be talking about in this episode. And so this topic is just super near and dear to my heart. If you've read any of my blogs or have heard us just talk over the years about dream building and setting goals, especially with our kids, this is a favorite topic of mine. So I'm excited to kind of dig in with y'all. And, first things first, before we can teach our kids or show our kids how to dream build and set goals, which are two very distinct actions or plans, we have to be really good at it ourselves, right? Or at least be willing to do those ourselves. So if we're not, dream building, setting new expectations for ourselves, setting goals for ourselves, then we're really going to miss out on an opportunity to really have credibility, really, with teaching our kids these topics. And so, that's not necessarily what this podcast is about. I'm not going to really break down how we should do it ourselves, but the same, I guess, tactics or practices or steps for teaching our kids are definitely things that we can do ourselves first. And I think it'll just build momentum and build enthusiasm and excitement around teaching our kids the same things. And of course, they're going to learn from watching us. They're going to learn from hearing us, watching us, seeing us push through and set those goals. And so, before we talk about maybe how to do these things, let's talk about why, before we really put ourselves out there to do anything. And before we figure out maybe how to do something, we've got to know why we want to do it. Whether it's somewhere that we want to go travel or something that we want to accomplish or something that we want to earn, we have to know why it's important to us. And sometimes the act of really discovering or asking ourselves why something is important to us, it'll either make it more important or more passionate for us to go do, or we might even realize, actually, I don't really have anything that's really going to drive me that's super important for me about this. And so it might even help take some things off the table or off our plate that we can say no to, that we realize, that's not really a dream that's important to me, or that's not really a goal that's super important to me. I don't have a huge why behind why that really matters to me. And at the end of the day, if it doesn't, then we're not going to be willing to do the work or put in the steps to achieve those things. And so figuring out and discovering and just really taking that time to discover why we want to, like I said, do something, earn something, accomplish something, experience something, that's really the most important step. Because if we don't have a why, then we really don't have a purpose for doing those things. And so, asking our kids, well, why are these dreams important to you? And I'll even back up a little bit too and talk about, giving them that experience and that time to dream build, and just dream and just, sit around and talk about, I want to do this, or I want to experience this. I want to learn how to ride a horse. I want to go, learn how to ski or water ski or wakeboard or something, like a water sport. I want to go visit the Grand Canyon, or I want to get a new scooter, or I want to have piano lessons, or learn to play the piano, or I don't know. I mean, we can probably all come up with a huge laundry list of things that our kids are always saying that they want to do or have or go experience. And so I love giving my kids the opportunity. We do this at least once a year. We're about to do it, this time of year for us. But we love pulling out magazines or just going to the internet and printing out pictures of things that our kids kids are excited about, and I will tell you over the years as we have done this, especially as our kids were younger and we were just kind of teaching the act of being enthusiastic about our dreams, they would come up with some really crazy things, some things that I would be like, oh, that doesn't even make any sense, or like, that's kind of goofy, or that's, heaven forbid I said unrealistic, because I'm like, I live by the quote of anything is possible, right? And so giving your kids the experience to dream build and come up with things that might be a little far-fetched in our adult minds is a really good exercise, not only for them, but also for us. And so taking that time to just let them dream and let them find a visual reminder or picture of what it is that they want or want to experience, and put it up on a cork board or a poster board, or even like a scrapbook that they can keep in their room and look at often. Just that visual reminder that's always in front of them that helps them remember what it is that they said they wanted. It just puts so much power in their subconscious to just remember, like, this was important to me and I'm willing to find the way to work towards those. And, dream building is an act all in itself. It's especially important, I'll add this, as your kids get older. I mentioned how sometimes as they were younger, which they're still really young, but I'm talking like all my boys were really young, like 7 and younger, they would come up with some crazy ideas for their dream board, but we always put them up there. And it's been fun over the years to, at the same time that we have them add new pictures to the dream board, we love pulling out the pictures because we keep them. I have a little folder and we keep all of the pictures that we've taken down off the dream board, which means that we've accomplished them. We don't take them down because we've changed our mind or we've given up on them. We only take them down if they've been accomplished. And so as equally powerful as it is to put a new dream up and basically declare, this is important to me. I'm going to find a way to accomplish this. I don't know how yet, but this is important, or this looks significant to me and I want this in some way in my life. As equally as important as that is the idea or the practice of reminding yourselves of what you've already accomplished. And a lot of times it's through just God's provision, thin threads, amazing opportunities that really are almost like, they're just inspiring to go back and remember, like, oh my gosh, I never thought I would be able to do this or have this. And we took it off the dream board because it came true. And you literally cannot tell my kids that dreams don't come true. They've seen too much. And it's so fun to pull out the folder and remind them, as they're starting to maybe question, like, I don't know if I want to put this on. I'm like, no, look, you've done crazier things and we've taken them down. So nothing's impossible. Nothing's too crazy. Nothing's too far-fetched. Like, put it up on the board. And what I was getting to is, especially as our kids get older, my oldest is 14 as a reference. And I think what I'm realizing is, I think it's almost more critical as they get older to help them remember how to dream and how to remember that anything is possible. And as the world maybe starts to get a little bit louder in their ear as they get older, as much as we try to protect them and as much as we try to be the voice that's the loudest, the world is going to get louder to them as they get older. They're going to have more input. And it's so important to build this foundation and to build this habit of helping them to dream big and to expect what we might consider the impossible at one point. Especially as they get older, it will have that foundation that they can stand on and they can just remember that wasn't that long ago that my dreams were coming true. I'm not beyond having more dreams come true. And I think that will just, like I said, I'm just kind of experiencing this as we go. And I'm just seeing this track record of faith and belief and expectation for a future that is greater than they thought was possible and maybe even believed was possible a year ago. And then we're able to look back and say, look what we've done. Look what God has done. We can believe bigger. We can believe bigger, guys. And it's so encouraging for them, but also for us parents as well too. And so, if you want some more tips, maybe some visuals, I wrote an article. It's on my blog on ashleeilg.com on the blog page about how to make dream boards with your kids. And I literally get down to like the supplies you need and like a step-by-step of how to do it. And so if you are looking for something to do, maybe between Christmas and New Year's this year, and you're ready to kind of get your kids' heads in and your own, mindset into the new year and what we want to accomplish for 2025, it's a great resource. And it's exactly what we do. And it's exactly what we have done. And like I said, we've had great experiences with it. And so once you do the dream board and once you have your kids and yourselves, line up some of those visuals and some of those dreams that you want to accomplish, then you can move into the more practical, tangible steps of goal setting. Hey friend, I wanted to take a quick pause to ask if you've taken the quiz yet to find out what type of dreamer are you. It's super important to discover what's working for you, but also some things that may be keeping you from really pursuing your greatest purpose. It takes just 2 minutes to find out if you're the skimboarder, the sunbather, the sandcastle builder, or the surfer babe. So jump over to dreamerquiz.com and be sure to share your results and tag me in it. Now back to the show. And an incredible book that I've leaned on for probably 2 decades at this point. I think I read it like 20 years ago when we were first married, and it was just amazing. It still is. It's called Who Are You Really and What Do You Want by Shad Helmstetter. And it is just an incredible book about figuring out what you want, what you're willing to do to get it, and reaching all of those goals. And, as we are setting our goals, again, it will help to have your why established. And that's where your dream board comes in. But I kind of broke down the goal setting into 6 steps. And so the first step is going to be to name it, whether it's you or your kids. What is your goal? Give it a name. If you want to learn how to wake surf, let's say I want to learn how to wake surf, and then you give it a time frame. When do you want to learn how to wake surf? Well, you're probably not going to learn how to wake surf, by the end of January because it's freezing out, unless you are traveling somewhere where you're going to learn to wake surf, maybe in the winter time. But for me, I would say, July. By July 31st, I want to learn how to wake surf in 2025. So I know I've got a couple months to practice. I might have some opportunities to get on the water. Might go find a friend with a boat and, go somewhere where I can learn how to wake surf. So you're going to name it. You're going to put a time frame on it. You're going to name your action steps. So I kind of just already did, but I'm going to find someone with a boat, or if you already have a boat, I'm going to find a wake surf board, whether you're going to buy it yourself or whether you're going to go somewhere where they do lessons and you can rent it. You're going to find a couple weekends where you can get out on the lake. So you're going to break down your goal into some action steps. I would say at least 4 to 5, even up to like 10 action steps, depending on what your goal is. And I'm sorry if I just literally came up with wake surfing on a whim. So I probably could have come up with a better example, but this was a goal I reached last year. So it's a real one for me. And then after you've named it, you've given it a time frame or a deadline of when you want to accomplish this. Because listen, a goal without a deadline is just a wish. If you don't have a deadline on there, you're going to come up with all kinds of reasons to procrastinate, to put it off, to not have a sense of urgency. And that will be probably one of the biggest reasons why you will not accomplish your goal. So do not skip the step of putting a time frame on it. And then you're going to do the action steps, like 4 to maybe 10 actions. 10 might be a lot, but depending on what your goal is, you might need to really break it down a good bit. Bite-sized chunks that are realistic and that are doable so that you get some momentum as you're making some progress. So if you go out on the water one day and you learn how to hold on when the boat takes off, like that's an action step. The next step is to get up and stay on. Maybe the last step is getting up, staying on, and letting go of the rope and staying in the wake behind the water. So different action steps to help you get there and to reach your final goal. Now, the 4th step is going to be identifying any obstacles that are going to come in your way. And this step is really crucial because, as we all know, anytime we set out to accomplish a new goal, there's going to be some setbacks. There's going to be some real life challenges that are going to pop up that you either weren't expecting or you knew they were going to come and you didn't already figure out how to navigate them and to overcome them. And so literally making a list of like, well, I know an obstacle for this is going to be that, I don't have a boat, or I don't have the time to get out on the lake. I've got, different scenarios. So you've got to write down those obstacles and figure out how to overcome them so that you can't use those as an excuse. A super, super important step. And just know too, obstacles are going to pop up that you didn't plan for, and you're going to just treat them the same way. You're going to know, I overcame the other obstacles. I didn't see this one coming, but I can overcome it as well. And then the 5th step is going to remind yourself your why. For me, the wake surfing, it was more of a personal thing for me because I had been trying for years. And then before I got pregnant with Liam, had a pretty traumatic delivery and wasn't really up for trying it for like a good year and a half. And for me, I was like, because I tried it like 4 years ago and I wasn't able to get up, it was like just a personal, goal of mine to say I was able to do this. Before I got, injured or whatever, it was important to me to be able to do it because I told myself I would. So some whys are a little bit more maybe impactful. The wake surfing one is not super impactful. My life would have definitely gone on whether I wake surfed or not. But for me, it was just that personal satisfaction of I'm going to get up one more time. I'm going to have this personal satisfaction of I didn't give up and I'm going to get up on that board. And I did. And it was as exhilarating as I thought it would be. So it was totally worth it. And then that final step for setting your goals, number 6, is going to be give yourself a reward. Plan your celebration. Plan what you're going to do or how you're going to be rewarded for reaching that goal. And, for maybe a work project or a business project or just a family goal that you have a reward. Oh my goodness. Andy and I are always planning goals for our companies. And, a lot of times our kids know, guys, we cannot do this. We've got to postpone this. Dad and I kind of have our head down. We need your help with this. Let's be family team members right now so we can reach this goal. And here's what we're going to do to reward ourselves as a family when we reach these goals. And they know it's going to be worth it. Once we hit this goal, guys, we're going to the beach for a week. We're going to go eat ice cream every day, and they love ice cream. We all love ice cream. And so setting that reward, even if it's somebody else might consider that reward silly, it doesn't really matter. It's your reward. It's whatever is going to get you up and moving towards that goal that matters. And so, just to kind of recap for setting goals, your 6 steps are name it, give it a time frame, give it a deadline that really matters. Identify your action steps, identify any obstacles that you're going to expect that you're going to have to figure out how to overcome. Remind yourself why this goal is important to you, write it down, and then finally write down what your reward is going to be once you reach it. How are you going to celebrate it? And again, this really, Shad Helmstetter does a much better job outlining this, but these 6 steps have literally outlined so many of the things that we've set out to do that we will continue to. We're going to use these steps as we set up our goals for 2025. We've already kind of started. I would say too, one of the biggest reasons that I love not only setting goals, but also back to the dream building with our kids is when they decide that something's important to them, they will figure out how to earn it. This is not, and I probably should have said this back when we were doing when I was talking about the dream building, but don't let them think that this is like a Christmas wish list. This is not their birthday wish list. This is not something that they're going to turn over to you and say, okay, mom, here's, or dad, here's my wish list. Go make it happen. This is all the things I want. These are all the things I want to do. I can't wait to experience them. Okay, mom and dad, go help make this happen for me. No, the whole point of this is to give them some skin in the game, let them figure out what's important to them and why it's important to them, because that will give them the momentum. This will give them the inspiration to go figure out how to make it happen, how to earn it. Those action steps are for them. Those obstacles are what they're going to face. That reward is going to be for them. And, whether it's, I'm trying to think of like what my kids have done when they've had things on the dream board that they've wanted to do or accomplish or get, they'll go figure out what in their bedroom they don't need anymore, and they'll go sell it, or they'll make something and sell it, whether it's at Kids Business Day or something else. Even on Facebook Marketplace, they've sold quite a few things on there, things that they just didn't need anymore, things that they made. What about mowing their neighbor's grass or walking a dog or, some other like service projects where they can earn some money. And of course, the lost art of just saving their money. If they get money from a gift or chores or anything else that they would be earning money on, if it's a large, expensive type of a thing, helping them learn the art of saving and delaying their gratification for what they really want most. I mean, that's a lesson all in itself of, okay, well, you want that thing right now, but do you remember what you put on the dream board? If you get this small thing now, are you going to have enough to get what really mattered to you as well? And the answer is usually no. And so it's just that great opportunity to teach them about delaying their gratification, remembering what they want most over what they want right now. And I mean, we all, can use great lessons in that. But I hope this has helped. Like I said, we are getting ready to do this with our own kids. We love the idea of a new year and setting goals, dream building, resetting our expectations to dream bigger, expect greatness, and just really inspire all that God can do in our life. And it's just amazing to see all the ideas that everybody comes up with. I love love seeing how different everybody's ideas and goals and dreams are. I think it's just one of the most powerful things that we can do. And so I hope this has helped encourage and inspire you. And we'd love to hear your feedback. We'd love to hear what your family is doing to make this extra special for this time of year as well. So happy 2024. This is such a fun episode to kind of wrap up the year as we again set our goals for 2025 with this podcast and beyond. And so we've loved having y'all join us. We can't wait to share again with you in the new year. And everybody, hope you have a very Merry Christmas, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks again for listening, friend. We would love to hear what is really speaking to you in today's episode. It means so much to us, and we would love for you to take a screenshot of you listening to our podcast, share it on Instagram and Facebook. Definitely tag me in it so I can reshare it. Our kids especially really love hearing what you're getting out of our show, so it really means the world. Thanks again for joining us.